Dear students, today we are going to learn about the characteristics of Shakespearean drama. You all know that Shakespeare is the world's greatest dramatist and poet, who is known for his tragedies, comedies, historical plays, and sonnets. William Shakespeare is known as the England's national poet and the Bard of Avon, where he was born. In all, about 37 plays he has written and 154 sonnets. He is known for his two longer narrative poems, The Rape of Lucrece and Venus and Adonis. His plays have been translated into many languages and performed worldwide. He is known for his plays and sonnets and in-depth study of complex human nature and universal themes of love and friendship. Shakespeare's dramas are divided into three categories, that is, comedies, tragedies, and historical plays. The protagonists in his early plays are historical figures like King Henry, Richard, James, who were the rulers of England. Hamlet is considered as the epitome of Renaissance, in which the tragic hero achieves perfection only after his death. It is Shakespeare's one of the greatest tragedies. Richard III is the epitome of Machiavellian evil, in which he balances the role of a king and the role of a man. And Shakespeare is the dramatist of Renaissance age. His plays focus on the man, his weaknesses, his depravities and flaws. His characters range from soldiers to the king. His plays have been divided into 5 acts, usually imposed by Nicholas Rowe, one of Shakespeare's first editors. Most of the Shakespearean plays are problem plays. His plays do not provide any solutions. In the sense, his plays are open-ended, which makes the reader think and come to their own conclusions based on their observation. And audiences are supposed to decide what the dramatist is going to convey through the actions in the drama. His plays end with insightful questions. Take whichever tragedy that Shakespeare has written. All the tragedies end with insightful questions to the audience. Like in Hamlet, most of the characters, very important characters, die on the stage. The death of the Hamlet haunts the readers or the audience so much so that we become one with the character, that is tragic hero Hamlet. He redefines the quest of human soul. His final plays against the way of Jacobean theatre, which focused on the blood tragedy and social comedy. There were also traces of colonialism found in his plays like Tempest, in which Prospero enslaves Caliban, who is a native of that land. His plays were performed for both Queen Elizabeth and King James I, who were his patrons. Most of his plays were performed in the Globe Theatre and Blackfriars Theatre, and it is believed that women did not act in his time. Therefore, boys played the role of women. Different color flags were flown from the top of the theatre so that people would know which play was about to be performed on that day. White flag meant a comedy, red flag meant a history, black or dark color meant a tragedy. Characteristics of Shakespearean comedies are romance. In most of his comedies, even in tragedies, there is a romance. Realism. The realistic aspects of life are also present in his plays. Love is a common theme which is found in most of his plays. Lead role of heroines, in the sense heroine play a very important role in most of Shakespearean plays. Disguise. He uses this as a device in his play to move the actions to a happy ending. Humor is also there in most of his comedies, and his comedies are a mixture of tragic comic elements, and music and songs also accompany in comedies. Characteristics of Shakespearean tragedies. As I told you, there is a tragic hero like Macbeth, Hamlet, King Lear, Julius Caesar, Romeo and Juliet. We find tragic hero in these tragic plays, and the hero or the tragic hero is having abnormal state of mind because of his tragic flaw, that is the moral consciousness. As Hamlet is also suffering from that moral consciousness where he is not normal to decide his actions. Supernatural elements are also there in his plays. Conflict and dilemma. As I told you, the tragic hero is always in conflict and dilemma because of his moral consciousness. Catharsis. Catharsis is nothing but purgation of emotions. After watching Shakespearean tragedies, there is a feeling of catharsis in the sense purgation of emotions in the audience. No poetic justice is given as the audiences are left with insightful questions after the tragic end in the plays, and different moral visions and insights are given in Shakespearean plays where we appreciate Shakespeare's moral vision and insights. To quote about some of Shakespeare's most famous quotes: neither a borrower nor a lender be. This is in Hamlet, taken from Hamlet. The course of true love never did run smooth. See, all his quotes are universal in sense. If music preferred to flow, play on. Comes in Twelfth Night. Love sought is good, but given unsought is better. Twelfth Night. All the world is a stage, all men and women are merely players. This comes in As You Like It. Chuck speaks it in the play. The fool does think he is wise, but the wise man knows himself to be a fool. Quotes from Shakespeare's plays. Love is blind, and lovers cannot see. The pretty follies that themselves commit. Merchant of Venice. All that glitters is not gold. The Merchant of Venice. Good night. Parting is such a sweet sorrow that I shall say good night till it be a morrow. Romeo and Juliet. See how beautiful it is. What's in a name that which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet? The mister will have no other medicine but only hope. Magic for magic. The better part of valor is discretion. Love looks not with the eyes, but with the mind, and therefore winged Cupid painted blind. Midsummer Night's Dream. Brevity is the soul of wit. Hamlet. Cowards die many times before the death. The valiant never taste of death but once. Julius Caesar. Life is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Macbeth. All the perfumes in Arabia will not sweeten this little hand. Macbeth. By reading all these quotes, we get to know that Shakespeare is a poet and a dramatist of universal significance, because his plays and sonnets have universal values which stand everlasting. With this, I conclude my lesson on characteristics of Shakespearean plays. Thank you.